sunsets and skies so blue. Mountains whisper stories of dreams so true. From oceans roaring wild to valleys deep, a heartbeat of a nation that will not sleep. Save South Africa, rise above the storm. Hands together strong, a new world is born. Beauty in our hearts, let it light the way. Evil cannot reign when we seize the day. The people sing louder than shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The soil holds our history, roots run so long. A melody of freedom, we're singing strong. They may curse the land with lies they weave, but we hold the truth in what we believe. Their crowns may crumble, their thrones may fall, for the power is the people's above it all. Save South Africa, rise above the storm. Hands together strong, a new world is born. Beauty in our hearts, let it light the way. Evil cannot reign when we seize the day. People sing louder than shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The people sing louder than shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The people sing louder than shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The soil holds our history, roots run so long. A melody of freedom, we're singing strong. They may curse the land with lies they weave, but we hold the truth in what we believe. Their crowns may crumble, their thrones may fall, for the power is the people's above it all. We know it all.
Good evening, America. Unless you're watching from California, then maybe not so good. Just kidding. Sort of, it's your favorite president, some say the best ever. And tonight, I've got a few things to say. So grab your popcorn, turn off the fake news, and let's talk about what's really going on. It's going to be good, really good.
I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Hey, welcome back, folks, to all the Neanderthals, canines, and right-wing podcasters. It's Friday, May 30th, 2025, and you're right here on Chris Wyatt Reports. Thank you for joining me once again on this lovely Friday. Absolutely glorious weather here in central Pennsylvania. It couldn't be better, unless it was 5 degrees Fahrenheit cooler. But other than that, it's absolutely perfect. Welcome, everybody. It's great to have you along. And we've got some news to talk about here today, including an op-ed from the president of Ghana running his mouth about nonsense. We're going to talk about that. It's just going to be happening. The heck is that? It's the Bugger Off Bunny. Shame for shame, Bugger Off Bunny. Yeah. The Bugger Off Bunny making an appearance there on the program, folks. Welcome back. I have some breaking news for you all, but I have to hold it for the moment. I have to hold it until I have confirmation that my information is correct. Your intro is too long. Well, then, Gary, go watch something else. Sorry. Go watch something else. My intro is not too long. I play a song to promote a musician whom I like and is a friend, and I play a song of inspiration to save South Africa. So I'm sorry if you don't like the intro. It's too long. But the problem is that nobody's here. We just now reached 500 in the audience. It took people several minutes to get here, Gary. We know this. We've been doing this for 4 or 5 years. I'm sorry that you think it's too long, Gary. Tune in 5 minutes after the top of the hour or 10 minutes after the top of the hour. Simple as that. Yes, I have breaking news. But I can't tell you. That's right, Napoleon, you're laughing. Well, it's because I don't simply try to take advantage of people. I try to ensure that what I report doesn't harm other people. So there you go, folks. There you go. No, I'm not going to give Gary the bunny, but Gary's a good guy. Don't be picking on Gary. Knock it off. Knock it off. No picking on Gary. All right. Okay. But I do have breaking news, folks. Just trying to get confirmation. Remind me at the bottom of the hour if I can. I will have confirmation. I will tell you. And if I don't have confirmation, remind me at the top of the next hour, and I will let you know if I've got it. Okay. Welcome to everybody who's currently here. 555 people. Wow. 555. All right. Thanks. Let's see, man. I think I have an idea, and I'm sure it's great news for all. Indeed, furry toes. It will be great news for all once I can confirm it's true. Well, not all. Not for the ANC. It's not good news for the ANC. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. Give you a clue. Come on. You can't figure it out. It can only be one of two things. Based on that information. If you can't figure that out, come on. You guys are excited. Well, I'm excited too. Yep. But I was in the middle of editing a video related to that breaking news, which I wasn't able to finish because just so much going on. I went out and recorded a video earlier. And so, no, Malema's not going to jail. I'll tell you that much. It's not that. Well, not yet anyway. All right. Hello, folks. Let's get to the news. Got a little bit of news to talk about here today. So let's get started. The Deputy Speaker of Parliament has referred 10 rabble-rousers from the economic freedom fighters for disciplinary action. Why don't you just recommend them for prison? Let's turn off the Trump baby here. He's still on. Okay. So, yeah, let's take a look at this, folks. Interesting story breaking out of South Africa. This is not the breaking news I was talking about. Yes, there she is from the Democratic Alliance. Deputy Speaker Annelie Lotriet says she's referred disruptive EFF MPs to the Speaker, calling for disciplinary action after Tuesday's chaotic session during interruptions during questions and answer sessions. Good. Yes, that was what I said, and that is how the process works. So what happens is that I now write to the Speaker with reports on the events and then also a recommendation. The disruptions began when a member exceeded their allocated time and refused to yield when instructed to do so. So I would recommend they expel them from the parliament. That would be my recommendation. Just saying, that'd be my recommendation. Expel them. Then maybe they learn their lesson and shut their cake holes instead of being disrespectful asshats. Martin Williams Bernard just gave a 70 Rand super chart. Getting cold in Boat Revere. All right, cool. Snow. Wow, you're going to get snow there? That'd be interesting. That would be interesting if you get snow. So I'm still waiting for confirmation here. But anyway, so it hasn't come yet. Well, the main suspect in that brutal slaying of that innocent young lady over the weekend was killed in a shootout with law enforcement, folks. Gee, do you wonder if he was guilty? What's he doing running around with an illicit gun and shooting at the police? So they're calling me a suspect. Sounds to me like his actions probably prove that he's guilty. Main suspect in Olerato Mongale's murder dies in a shootout with the police. The main suspect in the murder of Wits postgraduate student Olerato Mongale has been fatally shot by police in KZN. Without naming him, cowards, National Police spokesman Brigadier Athlenda Mate said he was found by police hiding out in a residential complex in Amazimtoti. In Amazimtoti? Man, that's where I hang out, in Amazimtoti. When police announced their arrival, he shot at them. Police returned fire and he was fatally wounded. Wow. No, Marius, definitely not going to be bad news. You're just making assumptions there. Could be good news. Well, this is from President John Mahama of Ghana. Let's read what he has to say about what's going on. Trump's unfounded attack on Cyril Ramaphosa was an insult to all Africans. Well, John Mahama, your comments are an insult to all cogent thinking people. Donald Trump made no attack on Cyril Ramaphosa. Ramaphosa was the rude one. Excuse me, I got a scam phone call I got to get rid of here. Thank you. Bye. Yes. So let's go on. If we want to solve injustices in Africa today, we cannot forget the injustices that shaped our history. I'm sorry, John. Are you talking about the slave traders who were your ancestors who imprisoned Africans for millennia and then decided to sell them to passing European ships to make more money? Are those the injustices you want to talk about, John? You want to talk about Jerry Rawlings overthrowing your Democratic elected government? You want to talk about your army overthrowing Kwame Nkrumah? Injustice of the past, John Mahama? Your selective remembrance of history is pathetic, President of Ghana. What a pathetic commentary. The meeting in the White House between Trump and Ramaphosa was at its heart about the preservation of essential historical truths. The U.S. president claims white genocide. Okay, John Mahama, you're a liar. Donald Trump made no claim of white genocide, made no claim. You're a liar and you're a fraud. And idiots elected you to be president of Ghana. You're that stupid. That's right. I called President John Mahama of Ghana stupid. Stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Watch the video. Don't simply listen to what your leftist hate wankers have told you happened. He didn't say that. When asked specifically, directly a question about white genocide in South Africa, what was Donald Trump's response? I'm not convinced. That's what Trump said. You are spreading the myth of white genocide. You racist presidents and leaders of Africa who have racist agendas to milk reparations when you should be paying reparations to Africans because your kin stole Africans and enslaved them for millennia, shipped them through the Sahara, through the Saharan Sahara to the Arab world where they're castrated and the women sold as concubines, and then sent them to passing European ships. Your complicit behavior in a millennium-long slave trade is on the table. John Mahama. John Mahama. Yes, there you go. The U.S. president claims white genocide can inflict the actual racial persecution massacres took place during the 2nd-century colonization, nearly 50 years of apartheid in South Africa. Well, even if that statement's true, John Mahama, it's not relevant. It's not germane to the conversation. Shall we award him the Mampara of the Week, John Mahama of Ghana? What happened over 250 years is not germane to what's happening today. You can't dismiss what's happening today because it's convenient, because you want to complain about what happened for 250 years. Two separate issues. Deal with them separately. It's not enough to be affronted by these claims. What claims? There's no claim. You're making the claim, John Mahama. I am affronted by your white genocide claim and your lies. And Philip DeVette's lies, and Adrien Basson's lies, and all the other frauds who lie in their media, claiming Trump said white genocide in that meeting. He never said it. Not one person's been able to refute what I said because the video proof is there. He is there. All right. These statements are a clear example of how language can be leveraged to extend the effects of previous injustice. Indeed. You're doing exactly that, John Mahama. You are lying. You're using language to distort the argument. Thank you for the 140 Rand, Erica. You're lying. You're distorting the argument. You're making false claims. Donald Trump never said white genocide. Only you and the frauds in the media said it. Donald Trump said he wasn't convinced. Wasn't convinced there's a white genocide. Yet John Mahama, the president of Ghana, decides to insult America. I guess he's feeling cocky because the CD has appreciated 40% against the dollar this year. Yeah, the same CD that I had to have an entire freaking pile of cash to pay for a tank of petrol. Thousands of notes when I was in Ghana. Yes. This mode of violence has long been used against indigenous Africans. Indigenous is an adjective, John, not a noun. Indigenous describes Africans. Therefore, it's lowercase. Send him back to school. The president of Ghana is functionally illiterate in English. Ghana is an English-speaking country. The official language is English. Yes, I know they speak other languages there, like Twi and others. But indigenous is an adjective. Stupid people shouldn't be elected to office. And it cannot simply be met with silence. Well, you're not meeting with silence. You're meeting with lies and propaganda. The Kenyan writer Mzee Ngugi, who just died, by the way, language conquest, unlike the military form wherein the victor must subdue the whole population directly, is cheaper and more effective. True. And what's your official language, John? Isn't it English? African nations, now see what Kenyan writer was talking about is substituting a language in mass for another language. What John Mahama is trying to do is saying the language of words, the terminology, the verbiage. But he's not bright enough to use that term. Well, he is. He's just lying to his audience. This, of course, appears in The Guardian, another rag of record. So African nations learn all ago their fates are inextricably linked. When it comes to interactions with the world beyond our continent, we are each other's bellwether. That's nonsense. What African country is inextricably linked other than in the Sahel? Who? Is Swaziland inextricably linked to the Congo? No ties whatsoever. Is Malawi inextricably tied to Gabon? No. This is propaganda, Pan-Africanist, black supremacist lies. Simple as that. Simple as that. And this is a president of a country. Can we bring the previous one back? He didn't lie like this. Ingrid's Inspirations, that guy deserves the bunny. Yep. Wow. In 1957, the year before my birth, Ghana became the first black African country to free itself from colonialism. Survey says, wrong. Sudan, 1956 independence. Boom! You're wrong. The Black Star Republic was not the first country to get its independence in colonial Africa. It was Sudan in 1956. This is the president of Ghana. He doesn't even know history. And by the way, Liberia got its independence long before that, when it was declared that by former slaves and free blacks. And Botswana was never a colony. It was a protectorate. After the Union Jack had been lowered, our first Prime Minister, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, gave a speech in which he emphasized our independence is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of Africa. That's correct. That's what Dr. Kwame Nkrumah did. And then he proceeded to be a thief, and corrupt beyond belief. And for that, a coup overthrew him. And then Sekou Touré felt bad for his Pan-Africanist buddy and invited him to be a co-president of Guinea. John Mahama trying to steal the vestiges of Pan-Africanism from the man who started it, Kwame Nkrumah. Wow. Shortly after, in 1960, was the Sharpeville massacre, which resulted in 69 deaths and more than 100 wounded. In Ghana, thousands of miles away, we marched, we protested, we gave cover and shelter. A similar solidarity existed in sovereign nations across the continent. Why? Because people who look like us were being subjugated. South Africans don't look like Ghanaians. What are you, a racist, John? South Africans don't look at all like Ghanaians. Have you been to South Africa, John? I have. Have you been to Ghana? I have, John. South Africans don't look anything like that. That's like saying all Asians look the same. All black people look the same? Wow, that is a wildly racist statement. Seriously? All black people? Oh, wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's, wow. People who look like us. We had fought our own versions of the same battle. It is true that Kwame Nkrumah invited a bunch of African independents, Liberation era folks, to Ghana and hosted them and kept them there and funded them. And then they were all promptly tossed out of their ear, except for Mugabe, after he was removed from office. I was 17 in June of 1976 when the South African Soweto operation took place. The now iconic photo of a young man carrying the limp 12-year-old body of Hector Peterson, who had just been shot by the police, haunted me for years. Wasn't that photograph from Sharpeville? Am I mistaken? Or was that 76? That wasn't 85. Oh, I'm sorry. He said 76. I'm sorry. I thought he said 85. My mistake. He said 76. He's correct. Hector Peterson, that was then. Yep. It so deeply hurt me to think that I was free to dream of a future as a child, was making the ultimate sacrifice for freedom and the future of his people. Hundreds of children were killed in that protest. So what were your thoughts when Jerry Rawlings overthrew the government? What were your thoughts when Kwame Nkrumah was overthrown by the military? Please, John, share us your thoughts on that. The racial persecution of black South Africans, again, black is not a noun, it's an adjective. He's incorrectly capitalized it. Once again, this is a racist black supremacist argument when people do this. They don't capitalize white, they capitalize black. That's racist. That is black supremacy. It's an adjective. Adjectives in English language are not capitalized. Nouns are, proper nouns. Black South Africans was rooted in a system that was enshrined in law. True. It took worldwide participation through demonstrations, boycotts, divestments, sanctions, and apartheid. That's not what ended apartheid. Again, this is another Pinul. Doesn't know history. Making up less than 10% of the population, white South Africans control more than 7% of the nation's wealth. Even now, there are a few places in South Africa where only Afrikaners are permitted to own property. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's fraudulent. He says, at the entrance to one such settlement, Kleinfontein is an enormous bust of Hendrik Verwoerd, the former prime minister who is considered the architect of apartheid. Yeah. And the Durban airport is named after a murderous thug who killed all of his concubines and his children, named Shaka Zulu. What's your point? Hendrik Verwoerd didn't kill 1 million people, or 100,000, or 1,000, or 100 people, or even one. Shaka Zulu did. but an entire international airport is named after Shaka Zulu in Durban. What's your point, John Mahama? Another separatist town, Oranje, teaches only Afrikaans in schools. Yeah, because the Constitution allows for that. Has its own chamber of commerce. Yeah. Every town has its own chamber of commerce. Are you an idiot? As well as its own currency. It's coupons, not a currency. That's used strictly within its borders. It has been reported that inside Oranje Cultural History Museum, there's a bust of every apartheid president except F.W. de Klerk. That's true. And both Clairefontaine and Oranje are currently in existence, and they boast a peaceful lifestyle. Why had the America-bound Afrikaners not sought refuge in either of those places? Wow. Because racially discriminatory laws still apply in Oranje and Clairefontaine, John Mahama, and thuggish, violent EFF have threatened the safety and security of elderly people living in Clairefontaine. That's why, John Mahama. Wow. According to the UN Department of Economic and Social Affairs, half the population is under 29, born after apartheid. It's actually 60%, and presumably committed to building and uplifting a rainbow nation. For what reason would they suddenly begin a genocide against white people? Again, there's that word genocide, and you're using it. Not me, not Trump. Once again, liars, liars, liars. If you want to destroy a people, you destroy their memory, you destroy their history. Well, that's exactly what's happening to Afrikaners. Tshwane, Gauteng, Geberge, Umbombela, eThekwini. What a bunch of utter nonsense. No Africans established any of those towns. They're all established by people of European descent. Every one of them. Built by those people. And their names stolen. In an effort to stamp out the history and culture of one group of South Africans. Illegally, mind you. Our world is in real crisis. Real refugees are being turned away from borders of the wealthiest nations. Real babies will die because of national aid. I'm sorry, John Mahama. How many refugees have you taken in Ghana? You got plenty of space. How many refugees have you taken in, John Mahama? How many refugees has Ghana taken in the past 45 years? We've taken in a quarter of Ghana's population in refugees alone. We naturalize 800 to 900,000 foreign nationals as Americans every year, which tells you that an awful lot of people come here legally and become Americans. So, John Mahama, president of Ghana, you are a race-hustling liar. Shame on you. Shame on you. Well, willing accomplices all over the world, folks. You find them everywhere. Now IOL and Newsroom Africa are promoting a virtually unknown televangelist that virtually none of us have ever heard of. Trump's so-called main pastor, which he's not. Yes, Time magazine claimed he was Trump's main pastor. Donald Trump's top pastor, Mark Burns, refutes white genocide claims during South Africa visit. Zole Mthembu, once again, you're the one saying genocide, not Trump. Pastor Mark Burns, who's never been to South Africa, an evangelical leader who often referred to as Trump's top pastor, is currently visiting South Africa. During his visit, he firmly refuted claims of white genocide occurring in the country, asserting that such allegations are not backed by realities on the ground. What does he know of realities on the ground? Where has he been? Sandton? Hout Bay? Parklands? What does Mark Burns know of South Africa? Is this the ANC's attempt to say, look, black guys think there's nothing going on too? And again, they use the word genocide. Not Trump, not me. There's no white genocide happening here, Burns said after meeting with white farmers, business owners, and former apartheid-era leaders. By the way, I'm beginning to wonder if the shadow banning hasn't gone back into effect today. Not because the audience, we have a large audience watching this, but the prepared videos I made today have had very few views. Why is that? Yesterday's video had 51,000 views. The one before that, 40,000, 105,000 before that. But today's videos have just 6,000 views when I talked about the lies being spewed out farms. And then the one I did about Pastor Burns, just 3,800. How is that? How is it that those videos are not getting the attention my videos the past couple days got? Is it because it's Friday? I don't think so. I don't think so. Anyway, back to the news. Willing accomplices. So let's go on what they say here. Burns claims that while songs like Kill the Boer are divisive and contribute to racial tensions, the broader issue is the country's high crime rate. Which affects all communities. Unemployment is crushing and poverty is driving violent crime. No, it's not. Poor people aren't thieves. Criminals are thieves. Poor people don't steal unless they're starving. This is a pastor. This is a Christian who's supposed to understand the world and the motivation of people. I wouldn't want to be in his flock. He's been co-opted as a race hustler, a propagandist. Wow. Burns added that many white South Africans believe President Trump was misinformed, expressed hope that he would visit South Africa during the upcoming G20 summit. Many white South Africans. Okay, my audience is not entirely white, so this won't be a scientific poll. Some of you are colored, some of you are Indian, some of you are black, but many of you are white. At least half the audience is white. Was President Trump misinformed about the situation in South Africa? Okay. All right. So I'm putting a poll up here, folks. We got close to 1,000. We got over 1,000 people right now. So yeah, that's salutation. I said situation. Situation. Okay. Still typed it wrong. There you go. Situation. All right. There's the poll, folks. Please vote in the poll. Do you think President Trump was misinformed about what's happening in South Africa? According to Mark Burns, most white South Africans think he was misinformed. What do you guys say? What do you guys say? So here's your chance to say. Wow. Ramaphosa has refuted claims of genocide. Of course he has, because the media keeps saying there's genocide. Trump didn't say that. Now, notice I never said Trump never said that. He used the term in answering a question a few weeks ago, and I think in his truth post, but he didn't say that in that meeting. Well, we're going to beef up security for Trump because some people are more equal than others. Kumbudza and Shivani. Wow. Some people are stupider, dumber than others. Some people are just dumb as a box of rocks. And this woman is dumb as a box of rocks. Minister of the Presidency, Kumbudza and Shivani, says, I will roll out more protection for Trump because he's more equal than others. Wow. More equal than others. That's an attempt to undermine President Trump and divide the people along class, if not race. South Africa's going to host G20 in November. Yep. And Shivani told me we must beef up security. When a leader of the free world visits your country, the security must be heightened. Well, that's a true statement. That should have been the end of it. So if indeed President Trump comes, security around him and security around other presidents, we're all sovereign. We're all equal, but some are more equal than others. Stupid people should be, here's your sign. Here's your sign, lady. Here's your sign. I don't know what to say about these people. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Stop that. That damn bunny's back. That damn bunny's back. Well, members of parliament want to know what's really going on with the South African National Defense Force. Well, gee, thank you for being curious 25 years too late. 25 years too late. Suddenly they care. They don't care. They don't care about the soldiers. They don't care about the fitness. They don't care about the foreign missions they're involved in. All they care about is political advantage. That's what this is about, ladies and gentlemen. It's about political advantage. In deep crisis, MPs want details on SANDF's future, not review programs yet to be implemented. On Friday, officials presented the overviews of previous defense reviews done in 1998 and 2015, both of which clearly spelled out the problems in 1998 and again in 2015. And here we are, 2.5 decades, and a decade later, and nothing has gone right. It's all gone backwards. Thank you, Verns de Burns, 35 Rand. Tom Eaton. Oh, this is pathetic. Tom Eaton and Times Live show a graphic photograph of Sharpeville massacre. To what? To rubbish Helen Zilla and misquote her? What a bunch of nonsense. These leftists. Zilla calls it taking opportunity seriously. Some call it cronyism and anti-corruption. The same vocal critic of state capture and anti-corruption should balk at the mechanisms apartheid used to leverage one demographic over another. Tom Eaton desperately seeking relevance here with an attack on Helen Zilla. On Monday, she returned her old ways on X with a bang as she took a pot shot at the Zuma-aligned ATM party and its demands for economic freedom. How they define economic freedom? How will we recognize it? And how does the ATM propose that we get there? Luckily, she didn't have to listen for long, as Langa Like the Sun reminded her we only have to look back 100 years to find a good precedent in South Africa for lifting a group of people out of poverty. We can refer to the Afrikaners economic empowerment programs that grant economic. So what they're admitting here, and Tom Eaton is admitting here, is that what was done when the Union of South Africa was created to bring together reconciliation between the English and the Boers in creating government programs, which they're wildly misstating. These programs really didn't come into effect until after apartheid. These programs have promoted patronage to Afrikaners. So because that was wrong, it's okay to be wrong again today and discriminate against people. Do you see the nonsense of these privileged, rich, elite, whiny crybabies who lie about what's happening? Shame on you, Tom Eaton. You're another leftist, and this is pathetic. She said, Afrikaners took all opportunities very seriously, educated their children in professional skills and out of poverty, built huge enterprise from the bottom up. Nothing is stopping everyone else from following that example. And so he gets really snarky. I'm not even going to finish it. It's just obnoxious. Well, Dan Corder took his condom off and went on to Piers Morgan and tried to look like an adult for once. That was very encouraging. I realize that's Dan's shtick, wearing a condom on his head. But according to Independent Line, class was in session. TV man Dan Corder schooled Piers Morgan uncensored panel about SA's so-called 142 racist laws. Well, there's Dan. There's Dan selling his merch. And they give a little clip, which I watched. It's ridiculous. So Dan Corder tries to say on that panel that the laws are okay. They're not racist because they also ensure that women and disabled people get advantage. But women aren't 80% of the population, and they come in all colors and stripes. Disabled people aren't 80% of the population. They come in all colors and stripes. But limiting white males to 4% of jobs is racist. And it's in 142 laws. And Dan Corder tried to defend that. It's typical nonsense. And Piers let him talk forever, spewing his idiocy. The guy is not very bright. He says he called Ernst Rutz and Gareth Cliff grifters. I think the guy suckling off the government teat in a government job, lying about South Africa, might be the grifter. Corder's bold views and strong presence have been commended by many South Africans, by black supremacists and leftist white hate wankers. Even music producer Prince KB commented that Corder cooked. Well, he cooked a lot of propaganda, that's for sure. Laughing out loud, Ernst Rhodes must stop defending fake news. He couldn't defend the so-called race-based laws. They are race-based. Are you stupid? Are you blind? Are you dumb? Apparently they are. Apparently these people are that dumb. Well, Ibrahim Harvey, in an op-ed, more drivel here, said public protests against Trump, like his actions and their ripple effects, are unprecedented. So Ibrahim Harvey in the Times Live lies about Trump. So let's find some of these lies he's got here. Let's find something. First, Trump's actions against immigrants were unprecedented in their ferocity, which included dispensing with due legal process. A huge number of immigrants were speedily, unceremoniously, and abruptly deported. So brutal was the process, played in a big part in the public protest. Well, Ibrahim Harvey, you're a liar. You're a liar. Due process was followed, and no immigrants have been deported. Not a single immigrant has been deported under this program. Criminal alien invaders, illegal immigrants, the same thing South Africans lose their mind over, are being deported. And the ones who are just deported, that a judge is trying to overturn, have been convicted of serious felony offenses like rape, murder, child molestation, child rape. Have been ordered out of the country on a final deportation order by a judge. And they're out of the country. And they're illegally here. Those are not immigrants, Ibrahim Harvey. You lie, you lie, you lie. Like most leftists with the intelligence of a pissant, you lie. Second, at a time when traditional middle class has already globally been decimated, if not destroyed, what? The middle class is thriving in America. What are you talking about? Under Donald Trump, the middle class wealth grew exponentially, well, arithmetically. Black middle class grew the most during Trump's first term. Destroyed. Maybe in South Africa because of racist policies, but not here. Trump has attacked medical care, untrue. Social Security, lie. Academic independence of universities, lie, and much more. What's the much more? He didn't attack medical care. Medicaid has not been touched. Medicare has not been touched. In fact, the expenses are going up. Social Security hasn't been touched. In fact, Donald Trump has tried to stop taxing Social Security benefits. How has he attacked Social Security? These lying sacks of horse manure. Ibrahim Harvey, you are a liar, a flat-out liar. And the academic independence universities. So universities that tolerate racist behavior and physical assaults and swastikas painted on the doors of Jewish students, that's academic independence? No. That's racism, that's bigotry, that's religious hatred, and it is Palestinian driven, and it is on these campuses. It has nothing to do with academic freedom. These people do not deserve taxpayer dollars because they're anti-Semite racist scumbags. And they allow this to happen. And then they limit the number of white students. 75% of the population is white, and only 26% of Harvard's incoming class is white. Is that because whites have lower scores? No. Is it because whites perform worse academically? No. Asians, as a demographic, have the highest performance academically, followed by whites. Yet whites and Asians represent small fractions of the incoming class of Harvard because it's racist. It's racist. Shut up, Ibrahim Harvey. You know what you're talking about. It's not academic freedom. It's racism. We don't tolerate racist like you do in South Africa. Third, and perhaps even more significant for the American and global capitalist economy, Trump does not appear to understand that his imposition of arbitrary, bizarre, and draconian tariffs by his swift executive orders in January have dealt serious blows. Serious blows to who? People cheating us? People cheating us, Harvey? Why does Europe impose a 10% tariff and then throw 25% value-added tax or 19% or 21%, depending on the country, on top of our cars? We charge you 2.5%. Lower your tariff to 2.5%, you won't have a problem. Stop imposing 75% tariff on U.S. poultry imports to South Africa, and you won't have a problem. Stop limiting the amount of stuff the Americans can send to South Africa, and you won't have a problem. There must be no doubt these draconian executive tariff orders are going to ultimately deepen the systemic crisis in global capitalist system. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're going to stop countries from cheating Americans and stop corrupt American executives from shipping our industrial productive base overseas for a fraction of a percentage of profit. That's what they're going to accomplish. You know what you're talking about, Ibrahim Harvey? You're a fool. You're an absolute fool. Well, what's the latest insult from Canada to the United States? Well, the Canadians didn't do it on purpose. But Canadian wildfires are polluting our air yet again. I guess it's revenge for our acid rain destroying their maple forests in the 1960s and 70s. Wildfire smoke from Manitoba will blow across 24 states through Saturday, reducing air quality and creating hazy skies and a threat to aviation safety. Plumes of dense smoke from uncontained wildfires in Manitoba will blow across more than a dozen central and eastern states. The milky haze will overtake Midwestern states. And look at this. Thankfully, it's going to go just below Pennsylvania. It won't ruin our skies. Or will it? Let's see. Maybe we're going to get hit. Looks like we're going to get hit with a little bit of it. Yeah, we are going to get hit with a little bit of it. Thank you, Canada, for your pollution once again. Once again, our neighbors to the north polluting our skies. Sarcasm, in case you missed it, folks. Trump says China has totally violated the agreement that they reached on tariffs. Yep. U.S. Trade Representative Greer said China was supposed to roll back critical mineral export bans after the Geneva Agreement, but it hasn't done so. President Trump said today that China has totally violated its agreement with the United States after two nations put a pause on escalating tariffs earlier this month. In a Truth Social post, Trump said the 145% tariffs he had placed on China made it virtually impossible for China to trade with the United States. He said he opted to offer China a deal for their sake, referencing reports of civil unrest among Chinese citizens. 2 weeks ago, China was in grave economic danger. Many factories closed, and there was, to put it mildly, civil unrest. I saw what was happening, and I didn't like it for them, not for us. I made a fast deal with China in order to save them from what I thought was going to be a very bad situation. I didn't want to see that happen. But they have not followed through. They violated the terms of the agreement because they cheat. Well, the Supreme Court allows Donald Trump to deport criminal alien invaders. 530,000 criminal alien invaders, not migrants. This is not how immigrants come to your country, illegally, surreptitiously slipping across the border. Look at this. Look at these criminals slipping into America. turning their children into criminals. Apparently, they're starving in their homelands. Look how tubalard they are. No opportunity. So bad are things that they're eating. You should see just these starving people who can't make it in their homelands illegally slipping into America. The divided Supreme Court declared the way for a Trump administration to revoke the temporary legal status of more than 530,000 criminal alien invaders from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela who've been illegally allowed to live and work in the United States while their fake immigration cases play out. Natasha Duprier, 70 Rand. Thank you for the super sticker. Yep. Supreme Court allows Trump to deport the criminal alien invaders. The unsigned order today halts for now a lower court injunction that stopped the government from ending the program while the case continues. Second time recent week, Supreme Court has allowed Trump to end temporary immigration protections because they're not immigration. They're criminals. They've violated our sovereignty. They've invaded the country. If they were marching in uniforms and carrying rifles, we wouldn't have this argument, would we? The courts are not holding back Trump's tariffs. The Trumps were reinstated yesterday. Well, the FBI's Dan Bongino says the agency probing COVID-19 origin cover-up as new strain drives cases. The probe comes to the World Health Organization, so a new variant of the Rona is driving cases up in some parts of the world. The FBI is investigating the alleged cover-up, the origins of Rona 19. The agency's deputy director, Dan Bongino, said on May 29th, as a new strain of the virus has started circulating in some parts of the world. As you read and process reports of new strain emerging, I want you to know that we are actively investigating in multiple field offices the cover-up of the origin, along with associated matters requiring our attention. Well, that's good to hear. The White House is investigating the cover-up. Targeting Chinese students. Too bad for the communists. Targeting Chinese students threatens the bottom line in American universities. So we should allow Chinese spies to steal our intellectual property and subvert our nation's national security so that MIT, Harvard, Yale, Northwestern, Duke, Cornell, Columbia, UCLA, and Berkeley make money. Chinese students make up 50% of the student body at Cornell. Or the international student body, excuse me. Columbia, it's 47%. Harvard is 23%. 50% of the foreign students at Cornell are Chinese from a communist country. And we allow this. We've allowed this for 50 years. Well, now that he's out of Doge, they're already attacking him. Thank you for the 14 Rand, Lana Roots. Yes, they're already attacking Donald Trump and Elon Musk. The CEO of Tesla, SpaceX, and XAI is done with government work and says he's back to sleeping in company conference rooms. He returns to his bruised empire. Yes, because leftists tried to destroy his company while he was finding fraud, waste, and abuse in the U.S. government. He is ready to get obsessed with his companies again. He has a lot to contend with. So there's the Tesla stock price. It peaked at over $460, $475, dropped down to $350. Went as low as $250 after they attacked Elon Musk. Werner, thank you for the 14-minute super chat. And Boss, thank you for becoming a member. Former New York City Police Commissioner Bernard Kerik has passed away at the age of 69. The federally indicted and convicted of fraud former police commissioner was on the ground at 9/11. Mr. Kerik was hailed for his leadership after the terrorist attacks, but was later jailed for crimes including tax fraud. Trump pardoned him in 2020. Bernard Kerik, New York City Police Commissioner who was hailed for leading the department during the September 11th terrorist attacks, later saw his career unravel as he was jailed for crimes including tax fraud, died May 29th in Manhattan. He was 69. His death was announced by FBI Director Kash Patel in a social media post. An Army veteran, joined the New York Police Department in 1986, became police commissioner at the turn of the millennium, working closely with Mayor Rudy Giuliani. Mr. Kerik had worked on Giuliani's security detail during the mayoral campaign in the 1990s. But he was later also person responsible for helping restore the police force in Iraq. Bernard Kerik dead at 69. All right, the poll, where are we at? 821 votes. My food on a vegan's food. What's this? Colonel, be honest with me. If I apply on the first day of the statement of interest, do you think we will make it into the program? Why would I be anything better than honest with you, LSR? I mean, why do South Africans use that phrase? Sorry. But just double checking whether I confirm the news. I also don't understand people anymore. We look at the world, it's happening. The world, we take aim. The world's gone crazy. The world is crazy. Yeah. So back to your question, LSR. I mean, why wouldn't you be considered for the program? I mean, do you have a reason for not being considered? I don't. Why would I be anything but honest for you? Planning to import U.S. LNG. Do you see this as a genuine bid to reset ties? Ian, YouTube, Ian, planning. What treaty, what contracts have been signed? What have been offered? None. It's just a statement. It's an attempt to bribe the Trump administration. It's not going to work. You have no steel and aluminum export. ArcelorMittal is shutting down one of its factories in the Vol Triangle. You have no steel. You're suffering from massive Chinese and other country and Indian exports to South Africa, which are flooding your economy and driving your steel business out of business. You have nothing to offer the United States. Vanderdrawn, thank you for the 14 Rand. Misinformed. F no. Okay. We supposedly buying U.S. liquid natural gas, and U.S. will be allowed to track in South Africa. To track what? Going to export steel and aluminum to USA. We export steel and aluminum to Asia. Why would we import it from South Africa? South Africa will be allowed to export cars without tariffs. Where are you getting this from? Where are you getting this from? Karen, do you have a source? I'd love to know where the source is. There's been no such announcement from the U.S. government, and I've seen nothing from the South African government. Verna YouTube just subscribed. Thank you for that. My apology for seeming rude last night, but Garrett doesn't know anything, and I'm entitled to state my opinions. Well, it's me again. Garrett does know a lot. You may disagree with him, and you are entitled to state your opinions. You're correct. Illegal immigrants come, and that shows you that their government is the same as South Africa. Greetings and gratitude. Most heartbreaking presentation by Miss World. My visit to the Witkhuis Monument. Miss World went to the Witkhuis Monument? I didn't see that. Why is this not reported in the news? Why is it not reported in the news? Natasha Dupree, thank you for the 70 Rand. Wow, that wildfire smoke. It is crazy, Eric. It is crazy. It kind of reminds me like that freaking avalanche in Switzerland buried that village. Man. So Americans in denial what's really happening in South Africa. Come with your camera to South Africa and get the truth and facts. Verity Engelbrecht, thank you for 400 super chat. I didn't see that one. Thank you for the super sticker there. Just received an email from Starlink about my proposal. Put my name up for future. All right, cool. AL, congratulations to you. But it's not coming. Those from a seat of comfort will never see or admit the truth. Exactly. Verity Engelbrecht, I recommend you start doing these lives with a beer or whiskey. We cannot afford losing you. Please calm down. Calm down. Dude, you haven't seen me excited. This is pretty mellow. Thank you for the 350 Rand, Ronell. Ronell Henrico, thank you so much for 350 Rand. Very kind of you, super sticker. The super stickers are coming wild today. Thank you for that. Finger is too big on the pole. It's a big no. It's okay, Quagga. Couple bunnies being issued. Yeah, that bunny's out of control, man. He just keeps popping up everywhere. There he is again. Hey, I said stop that. Stop it. No. That damn bunny. Dan Corda's private school education would be sprinting for the nearest British Airways flight to London when the band do come looking for retribution. Road Captain Kev, 35 Rand. Thank you for that, Road Captain. What's happening with U.S. tariffs? Karen, they were a lower court, the customs court, essentially. It's a court that was created a long time ago, but was renamed in 1982, the International Trade, whatever it is. Anyway, it's a U.S. district court, and they ruled that Trump doesn't have the authority to impose those tariffs unilaterally, blanket fashion, under the emergency powers that Trump cited from 1977, which Congress granted him. I disagree with the court. I agree that it doesn't clearly say that he can do not sanctions, but tariffs. It doesn't clearly state tariffs, but it says he can apply sanctions. Tariffs are a form of sanction. Therefore, Trump is allowed to do it. Congress authorized that under the Constitution, under a legal act in 1977 when Carter was president, so they could punish South Africa and others. Isn't that ironic? Isn't that ironic? It gave them the power to do that. So the court said, no, he can't do that. Well, a higher court has ruled that Trump can do that, and for now, they're allowed to continue while it's appealed. Yep. So the tariffs are back. They're back. Yep. As an Indian South African, I support the Colonel and Trump. The fact of the matter, Colonel visiting South. Thank you very much, Pat Murray. Thank you kindly. Okay. Aaron Snowden had a good opportunity there, but I think he did drop the ball. I didn't watch it. Didn't look like he had a chance to talk. Yeah, he didn't give Aaron's time to speak. A food taster in South Africa. Yeah, I didn't see the interview, and I wouldn't bother to watch it. It's probably nauseating. Illegal immigrants come, and that shit. Okay, I already saw that, and then got that. I'm trying to catch up in the chat now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for my breaking news? We've waited almost an hour. I will break it. It's a world exclusive. You ready for this? Are you ready for it? Do you want me to break the news now? Close the poll. Are you ready? Blame it on the bunny. Do you want me to forward you this email? Sure, Bill. You're welcome to forward me the email. I didn't say Starlink isn't going to negotiate with South Africans or show interest. I just said it's not coming to South Africa right now. Joe says I'm cruel. Ladies and gentlemen, the second batch cohort of South African refugees has arrived in the United States. The second batch has arrived in the United States. I will not disclose where they're going, but I know one location where refugees have come from South Africa. Notice I didn't say anything about charter flights, did I? Did I say anything about charter flights? I have confirmation that refugees have arrived in the United States from South Africa in the last hour. I haven't seen them, but I have confirmation from sources. Okay? There you go. There's your world exclusive. There's your world exclusives. I'm not going to answer how many. I'm not going to answer that. Number one, because I can't confirm the exact number, and I can't confirm all their destinations, but I'm aware of refugees who have landed and one location where they're headed to. All right? There you go. There you go. So for those of you who claim that this program isn't real, for those who claim that it was stopped because of the magnificent performance of Cyril Ramaphosa last week, once again, you're proven wrong. Proven wrong. I have made a video welcoming these refugees, which I was editing before this stream. I'll continue to edit and probably upload it. All right? There you go, folks. There you go. There you go. So I don't know the particularities of who they are, where they came from in South Africa, why they were selected, when they applied, if they were part of the initial 100, and these are people coming. I don't know any of that information, so please don't ask that information. If I become aware of that information, I can confirm it, then I will share it. All right? There you go. Yeah, so there you go. All right, so there you have it, folks. Second batch has arrived in the United States. Yep. Patience is a virtue. So the program continues. As I said, Vlam Zuma just gave a Vlam 2 USA 7 Rand super chat. Thank you for that. We got 1,100 people here. Can I get some more likes? And the people aren't happy to hear this news. Gosh, how hard is it to give me a like? 701 likes. Yeah, come on, guys. Michael Dawson says, I'm happy for them, but sad it's reality. Well, I'm also sad. It's heartbreaking to hear it. Yep. Oh, come on, Annette, Minnie. We've answered that question 10,000 times. Why are you asking that question now? Can they go where they want? No, they go where they're sent. But you could potentially influence that. I've only answered that question a million times. Gosh, can people just watch the videos? Gee, many crickets. It's not that hard. Well, Milk and Honey, I got you. Some of the first 100 who were interviewed still waiting for passports. Well, the U.S. government has no control over that. That's the South African government. Any of the spineless mainstream media did some homework, they would know that the farm murder is true. Yeah, exactly. Mike Fleon, thank you for 14 rand super chat. Excellent news. And then Oki says 35 rand supers. Thank you very much. Okay. You guys want to take a bet on the number of refugees? I don't know. We know what numbers to go with. Okay. It's amazing news, says Golda. And Pierre gave 140 rand. Awesome. Happy for them. Patiently waiting on the embassy. Yep. It's the way it is and the way South Africa is headed. Expect more to leave. Yep. Odin's Vikings. I know this was asked, but could I get a link to the old PDF that had the question for the interview? Okay, again, so look, look, okay, Pat's, here's the problem with that. I'm not saying we're not going to give it to you, but I had somebody come on here, and if you're watching, I was very patient with you, who wasted almost 2 hours of my time yesterday, the day before. I didn't have time to deal with this. Don't know who this person is. Contact me without knowing who I am and ask the question. I answered the question, and then repeatedly buffeted me with questions. And I answered the question. They repeatedly buffed me with the same question, asked in different format because they weren't listening. They weren't listening. First, they told me that they filled out the questionnaire with all the questions and sent it to the embassy at the email address. Well, that was never the plan. That was never what was happening. That's why I was reticent to take that list, which Hendo drafted based on an interview, and then my editing based on my experience and approval, and then we published it in a limited fashion, saying that these are potential questions. Someone actually sent that in saying that was their application. It's not an application. And they're going to get pissed off at me. So this is why, I'm not the refugee guy. If you want the list of questions, you may be asked those questions, you may not. But I mean, what is the big deal about questions? Why would you care about questions? Do you have to coach yourself to lie? I mean, you're going to be asked a question and you just answer honestly. Now, the only thing that might be helpful is if you expect to bring certain documents, but before you go to an interview, they're going to tell you what you need. So if Hendo has a link to that, or we have it somewhere, it was put in the WhatsApp groups, it was put in the Telegram group, then we can offer that to you, Pats. But I mean, that list doesn't get you in. That's not an application. That's why I had a problem with using it. I really had a problem with it. You've read that some Afrikaners complain about the Alabama heat and it's only May. Well, I told you Alabama sucks. Texas sucks. Florida sucks. Georgia sucks. They're humid. They're hot. They're miserable. Welcome to Durban. Online report says 70,000 expression of interest have been made. Is this true? Okay, Ian YouTubian, I think you came here late. I've covered this 1,000 times. Okay. Nobody knows what the true number is. Do you know why? Now is that new from their claim they got it from the embassy? I need to know that, because we have an expression of interest in the email, which was over 30,000 within 2 weeks of the program being announced on the 10th of February. The U.S. Embassy admitted that in interviews. They told interviewees they had over 30,000 back then. We don't know how the ultimate number was all the way up to May 11th. We don't know. We know of those 30,000. We know of 30,000 from the Amerikaners. They say they gave a lift to the embassy at 30,000 people contact them. And we know of 71,000 heads of household that reached out to the South African Chamber of Commerce. Some of those were duplicative. Some people did it more than once. So we don't know the true number, but the true number was likely north of 100,000 for that. We have no idea. There's no information unless somebody's leaking information from the U.S. Embassy to the Department of State about how many people express interest now. And an expression of interest, when it says 70,000, bear in mind that that's usually head of household. A head of household could have 8 people in that household, 7 minor children and a spouse, 9 people. Or it could be 2, it could be 1. So, that really isn't helpful. Mosquitoes don't bite me, Conrad. I'm rarely bit by a mosquito. They don't care for me. Some people they like more. All right, Heinrich Fischer, they'll love it then. Karen hates the humidity. I hope they will be left alone, no meat interference. Well, that's why I didn't tell you that they hit the ground until I can confirm. Sorry. Mosquitoes love caustic chameleon. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, Marco Rubio said 70,000 hearing. Thank you, Napoleon. I didn't hear that. Okay, and if Marco Rubio said that, then that would indicate to me that that's a number of people who sent in heads of household statements of interest. So that may be a valid number. Maybe a valid number, but I didn't know it. Thank you for that, Napoleon. I didn't hear it. I didn't listen to Marco Rubio. I was busy watching Trump's meeting. Thank you. That was going on at the same time. I never did follow up on the Marco Rubio testimony. Had a lot of hope for South Africa a few months ago, and I didn't trust Ramaphosa, but all his comments and backtracking made me realize they fast-tracked BE and the looting. Yep, South Africa's buggered. Johan Deval, 14 Rand, thank you. Thank you for the first super chat. DJ Quagga says, thanks, Colonel Chris. Please share with President Trump the information you have that will clear the swamp. I wish. Thank you for 35 Rand. Varushka, 14 Rand. She said not be public. Lives be... What? Info should not be public. Lives could be endangered. Correct. What info are you talking about, though, Varushka? Destinations, refugees, arrival refugees. Yeah, what are you talking about? Names? Time room close to... And there's gunfire and shooting almost every night. That's scary, Skippy. Few phone calls and totally supported. Phone cancer survivors. Thanks for the support. Dearest wife is diagnosed with cancer. Good Lord. Oh, sorry to hear that, Richard. Sorry to hear that. Thoughts and prayers. Don't think we'll know for true numbers. Why would we tell anyone exactly? Alan is a mosquito magnet. He hates the cold. Well, you don't find mosquitoes everywhere, but you do find them. Sorry, they love me too. Well, I mean, I don't really see mosquitoes very often here. I mean, honestly, rarely see a mosquito around here. Helena Stamen says, thank you. You're very welcome. Sorry, Chris, we don't like you anymore. We love you. Mike Filion. I didn't have anything to do with it. Chris, I'm confused. Charlie said we only have 44 Afrikaners. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Charles says that's at least 200,000 people. Probably, at least, yep. Just saw the plane and where it left from, but they're not sure who's on there even anyways. I don't know what you're talking about, Wills. Felicity's happy for them. Plantation for insect bites. Just got in. Did I miss something? The second group on the way. Second group has landed, Amanda. Second group has landed. Now off to their ultimate destinations in America. Discrimination exists between whites during apartheid, which included against English, Jews, and female citizens. Blacks were not the only victims. It's hard to find primary source information on that, Neptune, from here. Just got in. Did I miss something? Okay. Stormers 26, Glasgow 28. Is that your prediction? Because the game hasn't happened yet. She meant only 4. Yeah, that she knows. May to June transaction phase, so 80% will have the flu soon. Werner Fundameva, Colonel, is the first again with the breaking news. Colonel, well done. Thank you. You're very welcome, Werner Fundameva. You're very welcome. Yep. Damn it, I should have picked Glasgow on Super Bowl. No, Conrad, he's making a prediction. The game hasn't happened yet. I'm covering it live on Rugby Ascendant in about an hour and a half. So come over to Rugby Ascendant and watch it there. Rugby Ascendant. I am late, I guess. I suspect this is propaganda, fake news, downplaying the actual interest of the true matter. I doubt this is true. No, it's in YouTube. And apparently, Napoleon said that Marco Rubio confirmed it in testimony. So if he said in testimony, it's true. Otherwise, he's going to contempt of Congress. Next group was very quick. Hats off the embassy. Yep. Okay, meltdowns will begin. Yep. Thea doesn't want to do any more interviews. Someone's asking about Thea on an interview. I did a follow-up interview with Thea, but she doesn't want to do any more interviews. Podcast with Jack Miller. I sent Jack an email, and I don't think he responded. I could be wrong. Let me take a look. Jack Miller, because he doesn't use WhatsApp. Jack Miller. Let's see if he responded. He did. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, he did respond. My bad. He responded 2 days ago and I didn't see it. I get so many messages. See, that's the problem. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, Jack Miller will come on the program and he'll talk about what happened. He's been on before. Heads up, your recent short video posting displayed a YouTube wiki genocide conspiracy theory warning. What? Recent short video posting. What? Okay, thank you for that. Let me see. I've only done one short, so let's see. The short I did was about raising money for a child who couldn't hear. And you're telling me it has a warning? Well, I don't understand that. Where did that go? That thing just disappeared. Thank you, Inez Kulkenki, 40 Rand Super Chat. Thank you for that. Oh, it's Benjamin. Video displaying. I don't understand that. My short? No, I only have one short. You talking about the Pastor Mark Burns one? Let me see. I'm going to look at a couple of these videos. And then what happened to South Africa's farmers? YouTube. No warning on that one. Pastor Mark Burns. You're right. That's the most recent video I did. White genocide conspiracy theory. Well, I didn't talk about a white genocide conspiracy theory. I claimed he's the one that said it. Wow, what a crock. What a crock. So that's probably why I'm not getting any views, because YouTube is shadow banning me again with lies. Thank you for the heads up. I found it. That's not a short. It's a prepared video. It's not a short. My short was something different. Thank you for that, Benjamin. Jason Bernard, you said the second batch went faster for us. We don't know that. You're making an assumption. We don't know that this group isn't the people who are in the first 100 who didn't have a passport. We don't know that. So don't make an assumption. Northwest U.S. mosquitoes are up the... Oh, the mosquitoes at Fort Lewis are brutal. They're tiny and they're vicious. Yeah, SVN, unless we have flies all over the place. But flies aren't a major problem here. Okay, that video was great to see how quick the White Army could sort an issue. Yeah, it was, Dylan. That was amazing for that young girl's hearing. And I want to say thanks to everybody. And also, congratulations to Tracy Oliveri, who took the time to come find my channel and comment on the video and thank the Wyatt Army for the donation. She said in 3 days she raised the money. Well, that's not entirely accurate, Tracy. The money was raised because IOL ran the story. Thank you, IOL. I also thank the journalists who ran the story. I saw it. I mentioned it on my story, and I asked people if they would donate. And in less than 30 minutes, we took you from 200 Rand to 36,000 Rand. Wow. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Well, you're not getting a notification because it's called shadow banning. You clicked, don't show again. Oh. Yeah, why am I seeing this? Let's see why. When you search or watch videos related to topics prone to misinformation, such as moon landing, information panel shows sourced from independent third parties. Yeah, no, there's nothing I can do about it. YouTube won't take it down. So that's just crock. That's just a crock. Ian, more cockroaches are everywhere, including space station. Yep. Thank you, Norman. Where's that beautiful farm at? Which province? That hurt. I had a filling filled yesterday. By the way, I got a DNA analysis. This is interesting. I've managed to avoid cavities, a lot of cavities for a long time. But there's like 700 genetic markers for proneness to cavities, teeth. Apparently, I have a very strong proneness genetically to getting cavities. So it's a miracle I have teeth. These are all my teeth. And I'm 59 again this year, so I still have my teeth. It's amazing I have teeth, given how what poor oral hygiene I was taught as a child, and then finally learned how to do it properly as an adult. But yeah, no, I have a genetic propensity for cavities. That was interesting to discover. Yeah. Yes, Gabby, more people have landed in America, more refugees. Yeah, Trump's having a press conference, I think at 1:30. Let me go Trump press conference. See if I can find that. I wasn't planning on carrying it because I got rugby coming up. I need a break here. I got a headache too. Trump press RUMP. Trump press conference today. Let's see. Oh, there it was. Yeah. It's set for. Doesn't say what time it's set for. Oh, it's because Elon Musk is leaving his government position. I think that's why. But yeah. Yeah, there's nothing. They're getting ready for it. Let me go to White House. White House. There you go, at White House. Okay, White House. They have anything scheduled? They don't have it. Let me look at the lives here. Live? No. So, but they may go live with it. So anyway, yeah. But Trump is doing a press conference with Elon Musk his last day. How would sanctioned individuals look? Rudy, that's an odd question. Travel bans, SWIFT banking system removal, financial sanctions. You know, there's all kinds of things you can do against people. Unemployed with a PhD. Every time I'm invited for an interview, they appoint either a black woman or someone from Zimbabwe. There you go, Stephen. Refugees silently sneaking out. The leaky tap of taxpayers. Yep. How? Okay. I asked Laura Logan to interview you. Rob is having your... Yeah, thank you, Wicked One. Rob is also going to mention me to Laura Logan and all the other people he spoke to. That's what he said today. So he told me that privately, and then he mentioned on the air. So I hope that's the case. I'm getting a little frustrated with the American journalist. Now, Laura Logan's a South African, but she's here in America. Those who are not notified, click the subscribe button, then the bell icon, select all. Well, Ian YouTubing, you say that works, but it doesn't. Hendo has been unsubscribed from my channel at least 15 or 20 times over the past 5 years, 3 times in one day once. He never unsubscribed from the channel. Yeah, YouTube does some pretty shifty things. But it hasn't been happening much lately, so I'm surprised. 1:30. That's what I said, 1:30. Thank you, Furry Toes. Yep, 1:30. Anyway. Very nice. And she was so appreciative for the help, the little girl. I'm like, yeah, Ingrid, I agree. She was very, very grateful. So I hope that she can get it scheduled. Yep. Asked my mom today to check my uncles who are all Pretorius possible relation to Andreas, the Fortrekker, going through a family. Well, probably are. Do we legit have USA members running the embassy in Pretoria? Well, I don't understand what you mean by that, Jenny. Legit USA members. What do you mean? U.S. citizens? Of course U.S. citizens run the embassy. I don't understand your question at all, Jenny. What are you asking? Jenny Jordan. DHA asked me if I'm one of the 49s. Felt like correcting him. Who is DHA? Lana's unemployed. Thank you, Nestle. Nelson. I can't read that says. For your subscription. Oh, Ness Kulinki. Okay. Okay. When I call the USA Embassy in Pretoria, African man answered. Well, Helen, that's because you're calling a switchboard and they connect you. Also, we employ Black Americans in their embassies and Indian Americans and Native Americans and Hispanics. So, you're glad I'm a colonel, not a sergeant major, says Christian Morkel. Why's that? Mike Radio is going to get banned on the channel. He's saying that Stormer supporters have no teeth. I can disprove that. My teeth. I'm a Stormer supporter. Your family tree looks like a twig. Wow, Psycho Billy. And who else is there? Hey, Arctic, what's going on, man? Interview between you and Elon Musk. Well, that would be incredible. If I had an interview with Elon Musk, I'd have 1 million subscribers. I need to notice a lot of new people watching. Perhaps refer them all to refugee questions to the stack. Yep. Yeah, see, Dogbreaker's been unsubscribed twice. And there's Anthony, 35 Rand super sticker. Thank you for that. Thank you so much for that. 976 likes. We still haven't gotten to 1,000 likes when I broke the news that the second batch of refugees has landed successfully in America. Come on, guys. Come on. Come on. Huh. Sorry, I'm just checking something. Neanderthal DNA, strong teeth, all the better to bite with. Well, apparently they're not as strong as they can be. I've got genetic propensity. Karl Kutze, thank you for your 70 Rand super chat. Noticed a lot of new people. Okay. Jenny, always been U.S. State Department employees that get sent to embassy everywhere. Yeah, exactly. And Marnus Rousseau gave 35 Rand. Says African Hut is sell South African food and snack prodding us for the people that's there and still coming. Orlando Sadi, 70 Rand. Happy for the refugees. Sad for our ethnic population that keeps on diminishing. I cannot consider the offer because I don't want to leave behind 80-year-old parents behind. Well, you don't have to leave them. Get them to apply as well. Alarms are going off, Corey. Be careful. Big delay with unabridged birth certificate, 2 to 3 months now, 6 months waiting period. Oh, no, and that's sad to hear. Press lady for U.S. is a pit bull. She is. Lana has 35,000 people in her tree. You've got me beat. I've got 26,000, but I haven't been doing genealogy research very much in the past 3 years, just occasionally. Theo Diago was interviewed in National Security News. He was talking about fuel, car, and gas tariffs. Okay, I didn't know about that. Johan Barkhuizen gave it 14 Rand Super Chat. Expect the media to lose their minds about the second match. Oh, they will, and they'll be screaming. Whenever I must say we all stand up against current government, my message gets banned by YouTube. Well, not that time. It worked. It worked that time. The thing is, U.S. employees, is that you will hear all kinds of accents from our citizens, including lots of African. Yeah, exactly. Costa Camille, you're 100% correct. I mean, I've worked in embassies with people who immigrated from Africa and working in Southern Africa, came from Nigeria, but now are American citizens. Thank you for your membership, Llewellyn. Andre van Niekerk just gave out 5 memberships. That's why. Hope I get to interview more people. Well, Lana, I interview hundreds of people. I've conducted probably 1,500 interviews at least over the past 5 years, if not more. Still waiting for a call. Okay. Lauren Clegg is here. What's going on? Crystal Minar. Okay. Cool teeth, Colonel. Someone asked me if I have false teeth. Good genes. I would think discipline and personal hygiene. Personal hygiene is a big part of it, but still, I have a genetic inclination to get cavities. There's genetic markers for that, believe it or not. Yes, all the racial minorities were included, which I predicted. And I said I would hope that's the case, and it turned out to be the case. Generality is interesting. Traced just one side back to 1660. Okay, cool. What am I drinking? This is a lavender frappuccino from Starbucks. You can't really see it on the camera too well. It's purple, though. Purple's actually there. Maybe back here you can see it. No, it still looks white. It's actually purple. It's but it's the condensation here is dripping all over my desk. So, because it's cold and the air's glomming onto the cup. Rabid Bunny, do we know which numbers will they phone? I have no idea. No idea. Stay off heart medication. Ruined your teeth. Good Lord. Okay. Sorry to hear that, Mush. 15 generations. Some people just have soft teeth. Well, my teeth aren't soft. They're just prone to cavities. There's a difference. Hey, Val, what's going on? Did I miss the breaking news? You did, Stephen. The second batch of refugees has successfully landed in the United States. They're currently now going to their ultimate destinations. Yep. Yep. Tech challenge. You got my first like ever. Thanks to the 9-year-old who allowed me. Well, Daniel LaRue, I'm glad the 9-year-old helped you out. Clive Fletcher, thank you for the super chat of 14 Rand. Great to hear more South Africans USA. Well, it's sad to hear, actually, but Vasco da Gama came to South Africa. There wasn't a single tomato in South Africa. Thank me later, says Billy. My teeth are prone to biltong, says Arno. Great podcast with Ruben last night. Thank you. It would be great to have Donnie Root, pure economist. I've had Donnie Root on the program. Marius, I've had him on the program just 2 months ago. Do a search. Okay. How many landed? Tomahawk, I don't know the answer, and I'm not going to share it anyway until I can confirm it. You're welcome, Bernie. My pleasure. All right, guys, we finally got to 1,000 likes. Thank you for that. The likes are almost as many as people currently watching, so I appreciate that. Unabridged birth certificate in 9 weeks, says Lind D.I.D. All caught up. Great news. All right, cool beans. Let me take a look at what's going on with the channel real quick here, folks, just to give you an update here, as I like to do. We are approaching the 100,000 mark, but we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it by the end of the month. I was hoping we would, but not. Warwick B. Fiesta, $20. Woo! Now, there's some Quan. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yeah, but that was before the Trump meeting. What was before the Trump meeting? U.S. Oh, yes, Jaco Joubert. I had a filling yesterday, and it was 4,800 Rand for a filling. Just a small filling. 4,800 Rand. And that was with a discount. I got a discount, 10% discount. So it would have been over 5,000 Rand if I hadn't had that. So, yes, dental care is very expensive in America. Yep. A root canal cost me 25,000 Rand. Lost most of my teeth. Oh, sorry to hear that. Doretta got her passport in 9 days. Man, I wish I could have got mine in 9 days. Lana enjoys my historical inputs. Really benefits people who don't know their history, which is a lot of people. Thank you so much. Well done, says Russell. Yep, dental care is expensive here. U.S. consulate website, it said it's going to take an extended period here to hear back about the program. Well, I don't know that the U.S. consulate has a website. The U.S. embassy has a website. I don't know about any consulate site. Okay. How much is that in dollars? $1,200 for a root canal, $220 for a filling. No, we don't know what happened behind closed doors. Lost a few in a quad bike crash, I'll bet. Sorry to hear that. A lot of South Africans have left. Don't even want to know how much dental implants cost. Oh, Conrad, those are expensive. Been very lucky with my teeth and went to the dentist first time in 30 years, and all she did was clean them. Well, that's awesome, Ernst. Congratulations. You must be staying away from fizzy drinks. Oh, gotcha, Marius. My previous was before the new developments. Yeah, well, I'll ask Davi if he wants to come back on. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, Marius, I thought, okay, you weren't clear. You want me to interview him now after all the events that have occurred. Ancestry research is addictive. Yes, it can be, Karen. It can be very addictive. But I've gotten away from it for a while. Minister Presidency says, Mad Max, you were very late to the program. I covered that in the news. Follow-up interview with Thea. Well, Thea says she doesn't want to do any more interviews. If she does, then I will have her on, but she doesn't want to do any more right now. Chris wears Shark shirt and you'll get more loyal followers. Nope, Dirtbin, that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Nobody watches my Shark streams or my Lion streams. They only watch the Bulls and Stormers. Well, I've already had Nigerian scammers impersonate U.S. government officials phoning us on WhatsApp. Well, I mean, you won't be called on WhatsApp by the U.S. Embassy. That's the first indication something's wrong. The embassy's not going to call you on WhatsApp. They'll call you on a phone number. What with the seal was the plane? Yeah, you wonder if the seal was on the plane. Yeah, that elephant seal was on this flight. I cannot confirm that. Stop asking personal information by refugees. Protect their privacy. Exactly. East London farm was expropriated with compensation by Buffalo City Metro will be returned to its owner after Mr. May failed to use it for... Marsh, that's shocking. Surprise, surprise, surprise. YouTube going off snap fourth time on the stream. Gee, many crickets. Call for the embassy will show the U.S. Embassy on number. Yeah, we don't watch the Sharks game. It's 75 minutes. We look, and then again at 82. Good point there, Arctic. Trace my ancestry all the way back to Holtrup, Friesland. Well, I have ancestors in Friesland too, Dogbreaker. Will you be able to bribe Thea with chocolates? I'll try to bribe her because she's a good interview. I'd love to bribe Santana again too. She was a fantastic interview as well. I really enjoyed that. It was beautiful seeing that background. Elephant Seal's still hanging around. Really? He's still there? If they sound Indian or Nigerian, it might not be the U.S. Embassy. Possibly. If you have True Caller, yeah, that helps. You should have been a dentist when you... yes, Willow. I've gone to the dentist in South Africa before, but the problem is I had no time. My dentist actually is in Brooklyn, right by the mall. In that roundabout there, just by the side of the roundabout, that's where my dentist in South Africa is, and fantastic dentist too. Saved one of my teeth after it fractured, my molar fractured when I was in Ethiopia, and I was sent to South Africa for dental care. Yeah, but I had no time. Guys, I mean, I had no time. I couldn't breathe. I mean, I was doing 4 and 5 hour meet and greets. I'm exhausted. I mean, I'm just now still recovering from 2 weeks after I got back. Tomorrow is 2 weeks when I got back from South Africa, and I've still got this flu that I'm kicking its butt, which I developed on the plane. It manifested on the plane, and I was exhausted. I just now caught up on sleep the last couple of days. Okay, so ask for your IP address. That's funny. Well, the first time was supposed to be quiet too, Chaos Juggler, but somebody broke the law. Anyway, I was trying to tell you about the channel. So we're not going to make 100,000, I don't think, before June 1st, because I've got 12 hours, 13, 14 hours left today, and then I've got 24 hours tomorrow. So 97,811 subscribers. I really want to make it by the end of the month, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. But we have eclipsed the 20 million views, folks. I want to let you know that. Thank you all so much. We have eclipsed 20 million views. Lifetime of this channel, we're now, as of yesterday, as of midnight last night, 20,135,572 views on this channel. Wow. Thank you so much. December 31st, we had 3,400,000 views, and now we have 20 million. That's 16.6 million views since January 1st. Wow. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And the only time I have a dip is when I was in South Africa. Huge dip when I was in South Africa, folks. No kidding. No kidding. Ironic. When I was in South Africa, I did all those positive videos and nobody paid attention. Well, some people did. So, Vihan just gave, I don't know what a try is, what currency that is. Whoever uses Truecaller has to check their settings because the app will block numbers. Yeah, you got to be careful on that. Yeah, it doesn't block any of mine. Thank you for that. Oh, that's whatever currency that was. Some good currency. Just jumped a little bit on the super chats. Thank you for that. Steven says, we're on the road to see you. Deleted Truecaller. I use Truecaller. I have an excellent cough mixture website. Yeah, we hardly watch South Africans, only Rob and Ronaldo. Okay. Okay, is there no way to expedite the application? No, Kobus, there's no way to expedite anything. What do you want? They have 70,000 requests already last week when Marco Rubio testified in the Senate, 70,000 heads of household. That's already a couple 100,000 people they got to process. How can you possibly expedite that unless we put like 1,000 people working on it? So anxious about getting a call, biting my nails. Okay, I had numerous calls recently that they have been flagged either potential fraud. Mario says, well done. My sword in my teeth, that with it. Oh, I don't want to know about that, Billy. Elephant seals in Simonstown. What? It's not that far away. It's the other side of the bay. Signed a proclamation. He just loves people, doesn't he? I think he's looking for the KFC. Customs in Bloemfontein. That's funny. Philippine number. Boy, they really target you South Africans, don't they? Had to drive all the way to Pietermaritzburg. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry to hear you had to go all the way back there. Who's scared Truecaller will block embassy numbers? My biggest fear is EU opening up a refugee program. I don't want to go to the EU. Wonder why you get more views when you're home. I don't know, Vols. It's odd. I think it's because I did a lot of positive stories on South Africa. I mean, I can show you. Let me just do a quick scan of that very quickly. I'll show you guys. Let me do a quick scan of let me do the lifetime. Here we go. Actually, let's do the last 90 days. Well, the 90 days isn't as clear. Let's do the last 365 days. Yeah, here you go. All right, so let me do this, and you can see the views this way. Okay, here we go. So I'll do this from January. Okay. Okay, and I'll bring this up on the screen. Give me a second here, and I'll show you. Okay, so, gosh, my head hurts. Dehydrated. Video, media file. Where's image? There, image. Okay, got it. Add a source. Come on. Downloads. Takes a little while to do this. Okay, there we go. All right, so now let me make that bigger. Okay, so there you go. All right, so you can see on that chart, January, March, and then I was in South Africa from April through May. And look at that dip. Look at that dip. Since I've come back, it's spiked again. When I was before I left, it spiked from January onwards. But look at that in the right-hand side there. There's a delta there. It looks like somebody took a bite out of my chart. That's when I was in South Africa, April 13th to May 17th. Yeah, look at that. And I dropped 2 subscribers too, gaining subscribers. I can show you that as well. When I was in South Africa, I dropped to like 100, maybe 200 per day. When I've not been in South Africa, it's been, that's 28 days. Yes, let's go last 90 days. Well, that chart isn't really useful. So anyway, yeah, so yeah, it's just crazy. Yep. Anyway, they're blocking your comments. Can't comment on the police and farm attacks. Interesting. Well, Ian Taylor, welcome for joining us. Do you think other countries might start? I don't know. I'm surprised that countries like Hungary haven't said anything. Rui Blitz only found the channel when I was in South Africa. I'm glad you found it. People love your news. Well, thank you, Martin. Appreciate that. Putting up a brave front, but nose deep down inside. His stomach is turning. Okay. Algorithm likes consistency. Maybe it's because the live streams weren't on a schedule. Well, my lives, yeah, but awkward Leon, I don't get the views in the live streams. Okay, so I appreciate your argument, but the reality is that most of my views come off of prepared videos. Most of my subscribers come from prepared videos, not from the live streams. I mean, my live streams rarely went above 100, 125 before January. And we had times in the past we'd have 500, 1,000, 2,000, but now with Rob Hersoff this morning, we had 30 or 4,000, I think was the peak, something like that. Let me take a look. Content live, Rob Hersoff this morning. Let me look. The peak was, this doesn't tell me the peak. Shoot. Anyway, I had the peak earlier, so I don't know what the peak was, but it was like 3,800, 3,700 on the live stream. And then when I had Trump on, we had 14,600. So that was pretty incredible. Yep. So. It shows you South Africa's not the land of milk and honey. Shared to 5 groups. Come on. Okay. Did anybody see the video on WhatsApp? No, I didn't see that. Cyrus the Virus. Hi, Colonel. Can you maybe just make the viewers aware again to look out for scammers? Somebody on TikTok and the platforms. Well, first off, you shouldn't be doing anything on TikTok. Not buying anything, not answering anybody. You're asking for trouble. So thank you, Cyrus, for the 70 Rand. You're just asking for trouble there. That's going to get you in trouble. Same thing on Facebook. Facebook is the same place where they murdered the former Bulls coach. The assistant coach for the Bulls was murdered when he went to Shoshinguvwe. So thank you for the subscription to R. Borno. Yeah, folks, you got to be very careful about scammers. And again, the refugee program costs nothing. You pay, unless you're sending pets or you want to send a container of your goods to the States, which costs prohibitive amount of money. Only millionaires can afford that stuff. But it costs you nothing to apply for the program, to express interest. It costs you nothing for the medical checks. It costs you nothing for the paper processing. It costs you nothing to come to America. You do have to pay for your flight. If you don't have the money, you get a loan, then you repay it back interest-free. Okay, once more, our gratitude. You're very welcome, Joe Cruiser. I was here back when some mornings it was 40 or 60 with Eric and Endo. Yep, Light Rain, that's true. And we persevered. So Light Rain, I haven't changed, have I? If anything, I'm milder and more calm. 14 Rand, super sticker, thank you from Sean. Yeah, that's the funny thing. Some people, their numbers grow, their head gets, they get too big for their britches. Somebody tried to claim that about me the other day. I'm the same person I was then, just as honest, just as dedicated, just as hardworking, and just as caring as I was back then. And I worked just as hard when there were 40, 50 people watching the live stream as I do now with 1,097 watching. Went to SAPS to get the details of the case for my attack. The guy pled guilty. Got 4 years for house robbery. The stats will never make sense. Exactly. It was a farm attack. Well, exactly right. See, covered up. Tim Hofmann, you're welcome. Gideon David, thanks for the support. You're welcome. Missed the great news, Lorraine. Okay. Did you ever get your Temu patch? No, I never got a Temu patch, Alan. You talking about the one where dangerous men in professions don't mess with dangerous men? This one right here. Where's it at? Where's it at? Come on. Oh, I know I have the damn thing because I was using it the other day. Come on. There it is. Oh, there it is. You talking about that one? I never got that. Lighter Rain says, not at all. The Colonel conducts strategic rants, but he is never not in control. That's right, because, I do a rant, and I'm like, boom, chill, just like that in a moment later. Bernice Fourie, thank you for caring and supplying. Only once did I ever just go, well, twice. A live stream with Ronaldo when the jackass accused me of being a grifter, a e-beggar. I went off on Ronaldo's stream in 2022. And then when that black woman was murdered holding her infant in Chicago in broad daylight, just gunned down, shot in the head. That's the only time I've really lost it. But it was done for effect as well. I think any of the new guys will do an interview. I don't know, Milk and Honey. Have to wait and see. I'm just trying to get more information on that. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I now can confirm as of 15 minutes ago, the refugees that I'm aware of have arrived at their ultimate destination in a state here in the United States. They're there. They're there. They are there. There you go. I already shared it, baby Dino. Refugees are here. Second batch has arrived in the United States. Okay, SAP's disservice stopped classifying farm attacks in an effort to conflate statistics. I'm aware of that, Shylock. I'm aware of it. Okay, just want to say thank you for standing by all of us. You're welcome, Lorraine. He has a press conference at 1:30. Let me see if it's live now on the White House site. No, it's not live there, so I don't know who's carrying it, but yeah, maybe Fox News or something like that. Okay, almost killed me, and even I pressed charges, was never arrested. Yeah, exactly. That's crazy. Gray Man, 140 Rand. What does asylum cost? Have a wonderful weekend. What does asylum cost? Asylum costs a lot. You have to legally be in America, so you can't just come here like the frauds that Biden admitted to our country, illegally enter our country and then apply for asylum. It doesn't work that way. You have to legally be in America under our Immigration Nationality Act. Then you can apply for asylum if you have a legitimate basis. And it will cost you a lot of money because you have to pay for lawyers. You got to pay for your rent. You're not legally allowed to work. It costs you a lot of money. It can go on for years. It's not a good idea to try to apply for asylum in America. Yep. Hert Funny Osvald, thank you for everything, Colonel. And we are so glad the second group landed. All right, cool beans. I'm going to make a short video about them landing. Thank you so much for that. We're all jealous, but got to be patient. Yep. No, there was no fanfare at the airport. Have you seen any reports? I mean, have you heard of this anywhere? Is anybody? I know some of you are always on Twitter right now. Anybody see anything on Twitter? They will be accepted in the community, Sean. The ones that are here are already being warmly welcomed. Yep. Where am I located? Asylum may require a lawyer. Refugee application is free. Will require a valid passport. Exactly right, Benjamin. You can't slip in. We've stopped that. At least $10,000 to $15,000 for immigration, and that's if you're here legally. Okay. All right, that's going to be it, folks. I need to take a break. I hate to cut off, but I've got to make a video about the arrivals. Edit the video I already did this morning, welcoming the arrivals, and then I've got to get ready for the Stormers game. Please join me on Rugby Ascendant. Does any mod have the link to that? Actually, let me get it real quick so you guys can find it. Rugby Ascendant. Okay. Stormers. Wait a second. I didn't put the Stormers link in that one. Come on. Give me a break. Damn it. I can't believe that's not there. I know where to find it. I'll do it over here. I'll do it from that Rugby Ascendant. Rugby Ascendant. Okay, where's the Stormers at? There's Glasgow and the Stormers. Okay, copy link. All right, so if you want to go to that game, you can join me over there. Okay, that's Rugby Ascendant. That'll be at the next hour. Oops, close. Okay. Okay, so there you go, folks. Pin message. So there you go. If you want to come to the Rugby Ascendant and hear my play-by-play and color commentary of the Yep. I know you are not a lawyer, but maybe you have a tip. I don't want to commit fraud, but my partner and I are only getting married a month. Well, Push, I don't think it's fraud if you're planning on getting married. I mean, I don't know what advice to offer you, but I would probably, if I were in your shoes, apply as a head of household and say she's a part of your house. She has a different surname. Plenty of spouses have different surnames. Put her name on there, and by the time you get called in, if you're not married, say, we're getting married in 3 days, or we're getting married next week. That was the plan all along. It just coincided. I would get my statement of interest in if I would want to get out. Oh, boy. Okay. And congrats to you. Also, congrats to Zoe Olivier, whatever her last name is there. Hopefully she'll get her hearing. It'll be great for this child to be able to hear. All right, folks, that's going to do it. I'll see you on Rugby Ascendant, or you can watch my videos. Thank you so much. Cheers. Be well. And have a good weekend. I'm having steamed crabs tonight. What are you having for dinner? Cheers.